We're going to call the meeting to order at 9 a.m. and welcome everyone. In consideration of others and business conducted today, please silence your phones and any electronic devices, and please refrain from speaking unless recognized. This meeting is being broadcast on Zoom. If you're interested in speaking during public comment, please let Mr. Josina know when public comment opens. And this is a public meeting for the community of Glendora. We appreciate and respect your participation here this morning. All right, we have 3 of us present. And we are missing Callan and Crystal at the moment. All right, Kathy, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Does anyone wish to reorder or add to the agenda? No. Okay. We are going to open the public comment period, and speakers are limited to 3 minutes, speaking once, both on and off agenda items. If you are in attendance, please let me know. Once you're recognized, speakers should rise, state their name and the subject matter that you wish to discuss. Is anyone on Zoom? There's one person. Okay. And please let the record show that Crystal is here. All right. And has anyone emailed us? Okay. Would anyone like to participate in public comment? Yes, sir. Please.
All right, my name is Fred Sparling. I've been had a business since 2000 on the street here, and I've been on the farmers market committee before. And my comment is that Saturdays are the busiest day for stores and our retail stores and so forth. Are you planning on having it north of Foothill or south of Foothill? South of Foothill would still affect us, but not near as much. And we had it in the evening, which worked out much better for most of the businesses. But now that we've got so many new restaurants in, I don't know how that would work for the new restaurants. We don't want to interfere, especially with some that are just getting started and all that. So just try and take into consideration that information. If I can be of any further assistance, call on me. I'll be glad to help any way I can.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Hi.
Will you stand and come forward?
Well, do I speak now at the end of the event, at the end of the meeting?
This is the public comment period, so you have 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking here.
Sure.
My name is Eric, and I've been seeing a lot of stuff on the Glendora pages regarding farmers markets. And if it's done right, it does not hurt the businesses. It helps them. When I was doing the farmers market in Monrovia, my attendance was 7,000 to 10,000 people a night. I did it in a different way than everybody else did. I got the restaurants involved. I only used restaurants. I brought in food vendors that were not competing with other food vendors that were actually at brick and mortar. We brought in quality entertainment. We didn't make it a swap meet. And because of that, we had the news stations out there with an average 7,000 people doing what we did. It's a production and not just a farmer's market. As far as market, have anywhere. You want to compete with Monrovia? Not a problem. It's on a Friday night, and all the vendors that we had before still want to come back and do some fun again. If you want anything to know about farmers markets or how it's done or expertise on it, let me know. I'm a production company. You've seen my work in Glendora before. The safari events, the giant animals and so forth, the pandemic. I brought to the city. I brought a lot of things to the city for free because of my background. And it's not just equipment or entertainment, it's fun and family oriented. That's it.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Just have a quick question. Frank Artura. It was mentioned that Saturday south of Foothill is not an option for some reason. Do we know what the reasons are?
I believe that we'll get into that in the presentation that you're gonna do.
Okay.
Is there anything else that you'd like to, okay. All right, anyone else?
One person online, but she didn't say that she wanted to speak. So.
Okay, we're gonna close the public comment period. And now we're going to invite report statements from each board member. Start with you, Pat.
I don't have a future report. We discussed this particular topic in our last event and marketing committee meeting. And with specifics, we just ensured that prior to the board voting, we wanted to survey all bid businesses and get that information out there. And that is what happened. And I'm sure we'll discuss that in a bit. But that's the extent of it. Nothing.
All right, Mr. Josina.
Okay, well, we got this one item here we're gonna discuss, so I thought I'd do a little history first. In doing this presentation, I found the original article, it's at the chamber when it started in 1999. At least the one that was there, I don't know if there was one before that, but this was the one I remember. Started 1998, Thursday night, Glendora Farmers Market Association through the chamber. It was previously said at these meetings, was Glendora Ave North. At this time and before, there was also a Great Glendora Festival, which was separate from this, which is a massive event, but lasted through 2003. Then after that, it was off and on. 2008 had several attempts, tried to bring it back, but didn't have people who wanted to really do it. Tried to back parking lots and such. Did continue to discuss it over the last several years and attempted different ones, as you recall, the back lot, side, NIDA, that kind of stuff. They just weren't real successful. Then a year or so ago, almost two years, a market company approached us, do it in the village again, but after investigation, the street closure was way too expensive, to do it. So, but then fast forward to today with the new firm, which representative from the from Public Communities is here, to discuss what we're going to talk about today, having a farmers market. Initially, we did talk about evenings, but then after some discussions with city staff and everything, the Saturday morning date or time and day was brought up. Glendora Avenue, Foothill North to Demita, so basically just half the street is basically what we've been talking about to date. I did initially, as mentioned, ask, what about south of Foothill? And at that point, talking with assistant city manager and stuff, said that they wouldn't really want to see that, but more recently could possibly be an option. Okay, but that's what we're all here today to talk about. And then the street closure cost with the new thing wasn't a factor in this, since they take care of all that themselves. These maps on the side here are just ideas of how the different vendors and such could be placed. And as mentioned, there was a survey. It was a sample. 2 different people went out and basically talked to businesses below Meta and above Meta. And on the first slide, basically the basic question was, do you want a market? 33 people said yes, 2 people said no, or 2 locations. And then the second question was, since the Saturday morning question was a question of Saturday morning, would you want a Saturday morning, would you want a Wednesday evening? 68% said Wednesday evening, 26 Saturday morning, and then the 2 neither. Also, just to note, there was one merchant asking to go all the way north to Bennett. Just so the north end wasn't just the parking and such, but it was just one that I know of that had mentioned that. So, so basically looking at this, it was a sample. Wednesday nights, it talked about, preferable, but, with that, that's the information free. So I'll turn it back over to you to kind of discuss and hear for any questions. And again, as I mentioned, we have Amy here from the company that could produce this for us, or that's working on it. And turn it back to you.
I would love to start with Callan and Crystal, or anyone who actually went out and spoke to businesses, so for firsthand information. Does anyone have firsthand information from the businesses about what we're doing, and would you share what you learned from them?
From when I went out, overall, everyone was super excited. They loved the idea that it was going to be actually downtown because of bringing foot traffic. When we gave them both of the dates, Saturday and a Wednesday, Wednesdays for most merchants are very slow. When I started speaking to them and discussing that maybe you guys they would be able to stay open. We kind of talked last meeting, giving people ideas, staying open later, and opening a little later on just that night. Usually when I go and talk to all of the restaurants downtown, they kind of don't like any of our events that we plan. They were all pretty excited because Wednesday nights are relatively slow in downtown. So this was one of the events that they were very excited about.
Thank you. Anyone else have firsthand? And do any of you want to say anything about this?
Well, we did discuss in the committee meeting, the events committee meeting, that I don't know why it originally got, the proposal was only from Meta south to Foothill. I don't know how that transpired, but we did talk about opening it up all the way to Bennett because it just makes sense. So, I prefer doing that if that's okay with everyone else.
What is the process from here for approval and then actually starting?
Well, it was from what the city has asked is to get approval of the board, and then, which the process is already going, but once your approval, then that just gets going and gets approved and goes through all the logistics and everything to see how everything's gonna work. In Tiffany's here if you have other questions on that, but yeah, but I know the process already started.
Right. This feels like there's other logistical implications of opening up to the entire street. Do the booths get spread out too far? Is there additional cost in closing the other side of the street? Those are all things that if those could be figured out after this meeting, if we actually have the approval for the date and time, then we're able to open up the rest of it.
Well,
Do we have everybody?
See any issue with that, Amy?
I don't.
One moment. Will the booths get too spread out if it's the entire street?
No, they will not.
I have one other question about the booths, and that is we have them grouped in definitive sections. Is there a way of mixing them up a little bit more?
We cannot, because with the certified farmers market, you have to have a non-ag, ag, and food section.
Got it. Okay. Yes, sir.
So is this a farmer's market? Or do you want to do with a fun zone and an RC area and sponsor groups? Or is this going to be farmers? There's a big difference between farmers market, and it's going to be a full-on event with entertainment, with fun zone, with, sponsor booths from Visa and AT&T, or just gonna be farmers?
Are there sponsor booths?
Yes, yes, there will be city booths, there'll be community booths, farmers, food, and regular vendors.
No
And-
fun zone.
And a fun zone.
And a fun zone, yes, and bands.
So yes, it's all of it.
Okay, and when's the bidding? So we're talking about the bidding process, correct? It sounds like you guys already talked about doing this without having opened the bid.
Could we have the map back up there so we see what we're talking about?
So is there a bid on this, or is this closed? Because they
There-
come,
No, I was gonna say there isn't a bid because we're not paying anything.
so, okay, this is open to myself or just to Amy?
We're already working with it.
Okay, so then why even have a meeting then, guys?
Because we have to
Because-
approve the date and time.
So this is, so I've approached many times to do a farmer's market and it had been shut down from doing it. I've had one of the most successful farmer's market in the country. I bring it to the city at no charge. But yet no one's contacted me about doing this and it's such a closed deal already.
This meeting is to approve the date and time of the farmer's market.
I thought this meeting was about going with the bid.
No, we've been talking about this for a couple of years. I mean, we've been going back and forth. This one we've been talking about several months. But it's, we've already.
So you already made a decision already, correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
we're discussing the date and time and what section of the street it's on.
So this was not open to the public yet, correct?
Not,
This is a private event coming in, not for the city. If you're going better than the city, when I did my farmer's market, the business went up in Monrovia, it didn't go down.
I understand, yeah, this is the downtown merchants, board. Yeah, so, all right, so we have the map. This is to Mita. I think that the question that I would have about extending it all the way to Bennett, and I agree that it would be nice for all of the businesses to have the benefit of this. But like we saw with the wine walk, will it get too spread out to where it feels empty?
But where entries used to be.
I don't think so, because these are really bunched up.
Those are
Side
really
by side by side by side, I mean, if there was a gap between the few, you could spread it all the way.
It's just.
And could you still have the kids zone kind of in the Meta area and then continue to extend from there? Yeah.
Side by
Okay.
side, on top of.
All right.
I feel like this side, there's 2 by 2, this one is just solid line, so.
So I think we've got pretty definitive inputs as to what we're able to do, what we're not able to do, and what the downtown merchants should set the pitch on. So with that, is there anything else that we want to talk about before we move to a vote?
We just can open public comment again for follow-up questions. Or do we just raise our hands?
Go ahead.
Have you notified the property owners, the people who actually own the properties in the village, of what you guys plan to do by closing the street?
We have notified everyone with regard to this public meeting, and we've been
With regards to
discussing.
the bid,
What do you mean? Yes,
people that are within the bid, who involved with the village are not within the bid? If you own a single building within the bid, just a single building, single tenant, are they part of the bid and are they notified of what's going on?
They're not part of the bid.
Correct. So you haven't notified the property owners.
Well, we've notified each business owner.
You notified the tenants,
Yeah.
they don't own the buildings.
Yeah.
So you're closing the street in front of the buildings that people own, but they may not know what you're doing. If they weren't involved with your survey, don't you think it's a good idea if you're gonna close the street in front of somebody's property that you at least give them a notice of some sort?
Do we give those notices for Halloween walk, for wine walk, for?
You continue to notify people that are involved with the bid, but not everybody is involved with the bid.
But
So one
also,
of the things that I'm pointing out is that if you're gonna if I were gonna close the street in front of your house, wouldn't it be nice if you got a notice?
So again, my question for additional events that are occurring in the downtown area, is there an existing process, Joe, for notification for things like Halloween walk,
No.
wine walk for the building owners?
It's just,
Also, the building owners aren't usually involved in the events. They're
First time I
getting
got-
rent from the tenants, and the tenants are the ones who are making the
First-
decisions.
I own a building in the
business.
village. The first time I heard of this was when I walked into the last meeting, and I think that needs to change.
Well, to be fair, we've been talking about this the last 3-4 meetings. And we've gotten closer to identifying the date and time in the last 2 meetings. And we actually made a more concerted effort to explore other options other than Saturday morning because of your direct feedback in the last
Correct.
meeting.
Because you hadn't talked to the merchants yet to get their feedback, and now that you have, the time is changing,
What would you?
which I think is a good thing.
Okay. But I do think that there's a point of contention in the notification process that you'd like us to change.
No, the point of contention is I don't think people are being properly notified of your actions, including the merchants in this case. You guys were gonna close the street on one of the busiest mornings for these merchants that they have all week long. And a lot of them didn't know.
Right, I
And now
appreciate
that you guys have gone out to notify people, you found that that's correct. They don't want to be, have the street closed on Saturday mornings. So it's good for you guys to get out and talk to people, tell people, get feedback, so that they have some understanding and involvement. And as far as property owners are concerned, I know half the owners in the village of these buildings don't know that you intended to close the street on that Saturday morning.
Let's-
And if you
let's
have
talk
to
about
mail
that.
them a notice or just let them know, just, hey, guys, we're planning on doing this. If you, just to let you know, just send them some form of notice so that they're aware of your actions.
Right.
That's all I'm asking for.
Okay. And that is part of a bigger conversation that we're having about involving business, the building owners in all of the aspects.
Even if you
of
just
this.
mail them a letter, and I've given you guys the owner's mailing lists.
And to be fair, we have been in the process of notifying.
Yeah,
The
They
business,
don't get a letter if you don't have their emails. You're pushing buttons and emailing.
well,
Or you're walking into a business to ask them what they think, but at least you've walked through and asked the businesses now. And you have some feedback from that you're working from, so I respect that. Thank you.
All right, with all of that, let's move to a vote. This is a vote to approve the farmer's market on Wednesday evenings, to extend the farmer's market to the entire street to Bennett. And send it to the city. Is there anything else that should be included? That's it. Who would like to second?
did you make the motion?
I am making the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
who seconded it?
Me.
Joe?
All right. At this time, I will invite board members and or city staff to give closing comments. All right.
Say, I have talked to my customers and, other business owners, and they're excited to see the farmer's market return, so I think it's a good thing for the community.
And I also want to say, we make the best decisions that we can, the information that we have. And if there are things that don't end up working about this, we will work on continuing to improve it. I will also say I have walked the street on Wednesday evening with my wife many, many times. And it's empty. There's no one there. We walked just a couple of weeks ago, and Diplomat had live music, and there was actually felt like there was life there. I think Frisella's also had live music. And I was thinking, wow, if there were hundreds of people walking the street right now, this would be incredible. So our great hope is that this will invite a lot more more people to the downtown, and that the businesses will see a real benefit from this. Restaurants will see a real benefit. from this.
Wednesday's good night.
So we're excited about it. And yeah, thank you all for your patience and this process. All right, we are.
Just one question, you voted on a day and time, but you didn't vote on is it gonna be year round? Decision made, is it gonna be year round?
Well, that's through this, working with the city, there's gonna be a period, probably a 4 to 6 month, I think, initial, and then, but most likely they are usually all year round, it's spring to end of summer.
Where is the power being pulled from? Is she following the proper elements of the farmer's market? Are all the people that have insurance and business license, city of Glendora?
Yeah.
I mean, there's all these things that, you know, you do in a bid process.
It'll be fully insured and business license.
Regulated.
Excuse me?
Who's regulating?
The city of Glendora.
Okay, so I see violations, I can say something, right?
The city of Glendora.
All right.
And just to close, I just want to reiterate, we are very excited to have you, Amy.
Yeah.
And we are very excited for the opportunity. We've been attendees of your markets in Claremont and other destinations, and it's going to be really incredible. So thank you.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for years, and we're excited to finally get it happen. All right, we're adjourning the meeting at 9:27 a.m. Thank you, everyone.
Since the meeting's adjourned, I just want to make one more comment. Thank you very much for the hard work you put into it and coming up with a good solution.
Thank you, I appreciate it.